Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. I'd like to welcome you back to the LSG server. Now, the server is in its second iteration now after the final battle. They've had about 2 weeks to set everything up, and I won't lie, it hasn't been without problems, but we're going to see some of the bases, some of the creations from the players on the server, so let's get started. So the first place we've headed over to is the EPS Outpost. Now, these are a relatively new faction, and they've got some real cool things going on for them, and since the rollbacks happened, the base that got destroyed in a horrible attack has returned to them, so I can review this and have a look at it. Now, as we go inside, you'll notice some little rovers here, and they seem to really like the wooden floor. They've also got the interesting fact that Ricardo tends to be absolutely everywhere in this place. So as we're going through the main entrance where you can see we've got miners and more Ricardo pretty much everywhere. More disco miners, more Ricardo. It's the theme that runs through the whole of this place. More Ricardo over here, getting a bit too sweaty, but you know, let's continue down this particular shaft. So down here we actually have a turbine shaft, and you can see the nice little bit of woodwork, and there goes the turbine shaft all the way down to the bottom, and connected to it is another miner. So this miner can just pick up some rocks and pipe them up to the top. It is a real cool outpost, this, and it was a shame that it was destroyed in an offline raid. Now let's continue working our way through the outpost. So as we go past Ricardo defending the main entrance as usual, we can see a few of the EPS guys down dancing around in here and murdering themselves, not particularly great. And we've also got access to an even more interesting room down here. Now I warn you, what you're going to see here might not be the best or most safest place, but we've got ourselves this really cool storeroom down here, and then we've got this EPS briefing room that is absolutely insane. Look at the effort that's gone into this. Oh, I love it. We've also got a little chair over there at the back working out in his gym shots, and then we're over to this massive hangar. They've done some serious work, EPS, and they are building some serious firepower in terms of ships. These underground bases and hangars are real damn awesome, and the layouts of them are just simply really cool as well. You can see there's some extension work in progress. We've got a few of the smaller ships down here, a little mini ship there, and we've got that big orange craft. Anyway, let's continue moving on before we see anything we're not supposed to see. What's this say? Colonel Fabulous is ready for duty. Oh, I love this outpost, and there seems to be dead astronauts pretty much everywhere. Let's continue on to the next outpost. So the next outpost we're heading to belongs to high ground, and he's ironically named this place Black Mesa. It's got this really cool secret entrance that I'm not going to show you too much of, but you can see he's got his resources, he's got his med base spawners, and he's got these various landing pads for different sorts of miners, and it looks like he's enjoying the mossy texture like I am. But what makes this outpost really cool is he's gone the extra detail, and he's made these like habitation pods. Each of them are quite the same. They've got a survival kit inside, and they're like a place that you could rent. Maybe high ground in the future will offer these out, or make this into a safe zone and have these available for people to live in, or use as a backup spawning area that is safe. He's also got a 7-Eleven down here that's pretty damn cool, with some trading and mission sites there as well, and some more lower floor pods. A very nice simple little outpost, and it's doing him quite damn well. Anyway, let's go over to Howe's main outpost. So we're now over at Howe's main outpost. Now, Howe dominated the server in the last iteration. They took over the Uranium Pit, and in this build they've been having some serious fighting for it as well. And you can see the location. I'm not giving it away too much, but this whole mountain is covered in turrets. It's got a connector on the outside, and you can see there's some moving of parts going on in here as well. It looks like they've got a larger ship dangling above the grinder pit, but this base is pretty damn cool. They've got a 7-Eleven at this outpost as well, maybe a going theme. They've got a Subway, and they've got a Pizza Hut as well, so pretty much all the amenities. Let's just turn the light on. You can see they've got these really cool little fighters stacked up at various locations. They've got a start of a welder wall over in this section. Aaron's game's catching up again as things are being moved around, placed and locked in. So we've got a whole selection of little small ships, and we've got more of high ground's cool little connector pads that have an access port there as well in case you run out of hydrogen. Now let's have a look inside the Subways and the 7-Eleven. So I'll bring my character over, and we can have a quick look into Subway, have a look at the off-color coordinated wooden subway sort of looking area. Very cool indeed. We've also got the 7-Eleven down here. That's got all the little mission terminals. They've not put anything in them yet because this area is kind of off limits still. And then you've got the Pizza Hut here down at this section. And each one of these has got like a little toilet in the back there in case the pizza is not really sitting too well with you. Now, if we go into the super secret section, past the welder wall, up into this area, we'll see these various construction parts. Now, I'm not going to go too far through this because it's just kind of a maze of secret tunnels and whatnot. Nothing really cool to look at here. You can see it's all pretty much under construction. But if I quickly fast forward to this footage, you'll see they've got themselves a really cool ferret room. It's got everything you need. Ferrets in tubes, ferrets with hats. I particularly like this ferret, but that's been wiped out at the current moment in time. It's also got a picture of Shaq as well, but this outpost overall is just a really unique place. Another really great underground cave type bunker. So we're now heading to another one of the larger factions bunkers. Now this is AWK's base, and as we enter here through this massive hallway of turrets and small interior through the second airlock, we now enter into their main hangar. And I have to say, they did quite an impressive base in the previous build of the server, so I wasn't expecting anything less than that. And they've got some real cool constructions going here. A lot of fighters on ground level. They've got a big ship in the background that I'm not too sure how they're planning on getting out there if they decide to build it. They've also got these interior sort of Gatling turrets to persuade, but a lot of these really cool little hangar areas with various different ships and builds, pretty much parked all over the place. They've got a 3D printer or some sort of printing system that's printing these guys off, and because of that they can be quite efficient on building. They've also got a grinder pit, something that a lot of the bases tend to have on this server. Great for picking up spare drone parts. We've got a large column of windmills currently shut off, but you can see how they're getting a lot of the power for the base. Now, my recommendation is if you're not welding a projector block, get it turned off, or it does cause a few performance issues like that when I'm looking at it. But overall, quite a nice base for one of the smaller factions. So another question I get quite a lot is, what do the one-man type outposts look like? And this is the perfect example of it. So we'll normally have themselves a drill ship to the name, some basic sort of wind power. This one's not buried under the ground, and they have basic type access to a med bay, refinery, and some basic systems that they're trying to get going. It is harder to survive by yourself, and a lot of factions do find it that way, but a little outpost like this is definitely a good start. And he's got himself a Gatling gun turret there, so it will deter a lot of players. And it looks like there's some sort of bunker construction going further, so we might have to check back and see how this base is coming along in a future server update video. So another cool thing that we've got going on this server is we have this DRF Trade Station. Oh, that was really lagged. So one of the other things we have on here is some moderator run trade stations. This particular one is a secret abandoned DRF base that's being used to trade in some illegal DRF technology. And if you can gain access to the terminal that's inside there, well, you can do some super secret trades, and you can also learn about some hidden information that caused this place to come into existence and why exactly there's alien terrain around it. But there's a little bit of a story aspect there. I'm not going to go into too much because I don't want to spoil it for players who are exploring it on the server. But let's keep going for more players' bases and see what they look like. So you're probably guessing a bit of a theme here. We're now at one of the other outposts. Now, I believe this is a UCF outpost, but I'm not 100% sure. I could check, but giving you the information would just lose a little bit too much security for them. So as we go through here, we've got another very high security door with motion sensors to detect players and whatnot. We've got a nice big purple hangar. We saw one of their hangars in the last iteration of the server, and they were very organized when it came to fighters, and you can see just what they've done here. And once again, they've organized the fighters in racks. Razors deployed at a moment's notice, and you can see they've got some wide boys here with a hell of a lot of gats to deliver some serious firepower to any attackers. They've also got like a little police looking car, one pretty damn cool there as well. They've got a massive shaft of thrusters, well, not thrusters, these are wind turbines, as well as some mining ships doing some work to extend that shaft. Since they've not got control of the uranium pit, this is something that they have to do, and you'll notice the same thing with all the factions. Talking about the uranium pit, what exactly is happening there? And what the hell is this? So you can see they've been very busy creating another one of these weird shaped type ships, very distinctive, very cool on the horizon. Anyway, we'll continue working our way through and we'll go to the Uranium Pit next. So we're back at the good old Uranium Pit. Now this place never sees an end of war. As you can see by some of the destruction around, it's seen quite a few owners as well. Now, USR originally took over this location and they had it for quite some time until sadly someone discovered how to do a very, very nasty sort of, well, it's not a glitch, it's part of the game, I guess you could say, and managed to bubble off all the uranium, and I'll show you the extent of this. So the uranium has actually been bubbled off down here, and a small outpost has been constructed to hold the said reactor. So USR kind of got it taken from under their noses. They decided to hold the top of the pit. They decided to try to build some constructions in here, but it really just didn't go that well for them. They needed to hold the deposit itself, and with the new shield generators, it meant a tactic like that was very, very possible. But anyway, it made for a very interesting engagement, and currently it looks like no one's really moved into the Uranium Pit. The main difficulty is because they have that shield up at the bottom. Is it really a place of value to take over? Someone's even painted this area pink. You can see there's some connectors going in the side. There's really nothing of value in here apart from it being this funky looking disco room. It's been raided hard, this place, and it's kind of becoming like a no man's land. People would prefer to go to a trader now than actually come here and try to bargain for uranium. So the monopoly on the Uranium Pit has kind of been tackled by putting a shield around it. But it won't be for long, because something says that maybe Aaron will take the shields offline and let the players have a little bit more fun, because the shield tactics that I've been seeing have been really quite anti-PvP and anti-climatic towards the gameplay. Anyway, we've had a quick look at the server today. I've shown you some of the people's constructions. Yes, there is some people living out in space, but it's such a barren place up there, it's pretty damn difficult to survive. And do apologise to my computer. When I start jumping around to a lot of places, it does get a little stuttery like this. It's just trying to catch up and store all the places, as Space Engineers really doesn't behave too well when you play it for too long or do a lot of jumps like this. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.